All right, guys, what is going on? We are live. It is great to finally be back up here, as The Rock would say. Finally, Dan has come back to his live Monday Night Raw reviews here on youtube.com/DanielGarza412. If you guys are tuning in, you know the deal. It's been a long time coming. Thank you for your patience. We got the live chat open. We got a lot to talk about. February 3rd, 2020 edition of Monday Night Raw, guys. And it is great to be back up here. Been waiting to do one of these for, like I said, a long time. So, like I said, we have a lot to talk about when it comes to this episode of Monday Night Raw, which I have to say, I'm giving it a thumbs up. I really liked what we had coming out of this episode. Really laid the groundwork. I continued the slow build towards WrestleMania, and I feel like more and more, week in and week out, we get more of Paul Heyman's influence over this show. And since I started tuning in at the beginning of the year, I felt like things have been on a nice rebound. Whether when it comes to the stuff with McIntyre and the way that they're building up Kevin Owens, and the heel faction of the Authors of Pain, Buddy Murphy, Seth Rollins, and just sprinkled, solid matches throughout the show, weave storylines in and out. I feel like everything really stood on its own tonight. Everything had a purpose. Everything spoke volume. So yeah, guys, like I said, and if you're just tuning in here, make sure to click that like and subscribe button here on youtube.com/DanielGarza412. And without further ado, let's get into my review for Monday Night Raw, February 3rd. We were live here from the Vivint Smart Home Arena in Salt Lake City, Utah. Had a little bit of a snowstorm out there, but looked like it was a packed house tonight in Salt Lake. So we come on the air here. Randy Orton comes out to a chorus, a literal chorus of boos after his appalling attack on his so-called best friend, Edge. It was great to see Orton in his element here. And I just love the facial expressions of, what is Orton going to say? And ultimately, he didn't really say much. And we got "you suck" chants, boos, and Orton, every time he picked up the microphone to his, say something, he just kept getting drowned and out with the boos and the Edge chants. And he says he can't do this. And he puts the mic down and walks back. Now, apparently next week, we're going to get an update here from Edge. So, like I said, we're off to the races here when it comes to Edge versus Randy Orton. Now, we still have about 9 weeks to go until WrestleMania, but that'll be here before you know it. I mean, before you look at the calendar, it'll already be March, and then April 5th. Like I said, less than 61 days as we speak will be here. Edge versus Randy Orton, the history. That angle, like I said, keep going back to it, was so well done. You write Edge off for a couple weeks, and then when he comes back, we are going to be off to the races here. So I loved what they did with Orton here. Kept you guessing, created intrigue, makes you wonder, where are they going next with this? So job well done. We then had Lana versus Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan got the win here. Match was what it was. However, after the match, Liv standing tall, and who would interrupt her but her supposed friend, Ruby Riott, who's been out of action since having double shoulder surgery back in May. So it was great to see Ruby back here. I was like, man, the women's division really could use some depth here on Raw. I was like, you know what? Great to see her back. Lana's in the ring as well after, getting pinned by Liv Morgan for the second week in a row. And Ruby Riott, attacks her supposed friend, Liv Morgan. And I'm like, oh, this could be interesting here. This could be a different, a nice undercard feud here. And I thought it was, like I said, nice surprise to see Ruby coming back here. I think Ruby versus Liv could be interesting. So I like to see where this would go. And like I said, I am a fan of Ruby Riott. So like I said, it was great to have her back here on the show. We had Drew McIntyre versus Mojo Rawley. I couldn't help myself, guys. But Drew here, I really liked his promo here. It was short, sweet, to the point. He said, Mojo, I'll get to you. It'll only take me 3 seconds to beat you. But he says, Lesnar last week attacked him from behind. And he says, at WrestleMania, all it's going to take is one Claymore kick. Just like it took one Claymore kick for Drew to eliminate Brock Lesnar. And the crowd, I feel like more and more week in and week out, are getting behind Drew McIntyre. And I like what they did here tonight on this show. Didn't overstay its welcome. Drew cut his promo, got to the point, and in 3 seconds, like he said he was going to do, he kicked Mojo Rawley's head off and pinned him. So, tic-tac-toe, 3 in a row, boom. We're off to the races here. It'll be interesting to see where they go here. Like I said, we would have later on in the show a triple threat match to determine who would face Brock Lesnar, WWE Super Showdown on February the 27th. We then had what I thought was an enjoyable elimination match. 6-man elimination match. Kevin Owens and the Viking Raiders versus Buddy Murphy and the Authors of Pain. The way I liked how this match was set up was how it put the spotlight on Kevin Owens and really made you sympathize with, for him as a babyface. I thought it was smart. You had, Ivar and Akam. Ivar and, I always get their names mixed up here. Erik, I'm sorry. So Erik hits suicide dive, taking out Akam, who's on the floor, and Ivar gets launched shoulder first into the LED ring apron, and he's out. And then Ivar, like I said, Ivar got taken out. And then Rollins hit the curb stomp on Erik, who was at ringside, gets rolled into the ring. Buddy Murphy eliminates him. So here's where we're at. We got Kevin Owens taking on Buddy Murphy, Akam, and Rezar. And surprisingly, I thought Owens was going to pin them all. Owens got Buddy Murphy. I'm like, oh, okay. And then Owens, was able to get Akam eliminated. So now it came down to Owens and Rezar. And I was like, oh, can Owens do it? Can Owens do it? Crowd's really into this match. He hits running cannonball. But Rollins, of course, as Owens, is getting flung back into the ropes. Rollins gets up on the apron for the distraction. Owens swings, misses. Rezar turns. Owens inside out. Spine buster in the middle. And hits another spine buster, which is one of my favorite moves in wrestling, by the way. But Owens taken down for the count. And after the match, crowd gives Owens a standing ovation. So despite losing, put up a hell of a fight. And I like the fact that the crowd gave him a standing ovation. And like I said, it's the little touches here on this show that I feel like Paul Heyman's influence has been felt more and more. I don't know if it's because Vince's attention is more focused on SmackDown and the XFL. And he's like, well, Raw, pal, I don't really have time for it. But, yeah, I really enjoyed this elimination match. Moving on here, we had Aleister Black versus Eric Young. Black picks up a quick win. Black mass, 1, 2, 3. Apparently Black is, and I got this stat from, shout out to Sean Ross Sapp here on Twitter. And I want to pull up that tweet here. Just give me 1 second, guys. Aleister Black is 18-0 in televised one-on-one matches on main roster pay-per-view, Raw, and SmackDown. So they've really been keeping Aleister Black strong. I feel like he's had much more direction here since Paul Heyman has taken over. And he cut a nice little promo here. He talked about a firm believer that people should believe in and be who they are because that drives relentless competition. Lights go down. They shine on Black. He's sitting in the center ring. He says he realizes, he talks about taking out everyone in the Raw locker room and says, while they are laying there, they will realize it was done by a person who was told he could be whatever he wanted to be. Black stands up and makes his exit. Now, a match that I would be lobbying for if I was in charge. I think AJ Styles, if he comes back, needs an opponent. You want to put Black in a high-profile match. Aleister Black versus AJ Styles on the grandest stage of WrestleMania. Just saying. We then had, I liked this a lot. I liked where this was going. Like I said, this show really flew by for me. So we had Andrade Cien Almas, who was suspended. 30 days. Of course, they didn't acknowledge that. So we have Humberto Carrillo. He comes down to the ring, and Zelina Vega comes out. She introduces Angel Garza, who is the cousin of Carrillo. And she talks about, that is Zelina Vega talks about how Carrillo messed up her business after he laid out Andrade on the concrete. They begin, Garza begins to talk some Spanish at Carrillo. Carrillo grabs the mic and, talks trash in Spanish. Zelina Vega slaps him, and it looks like Garza is going to, take out Korea here on the exposed concrete. Rey Mysterio comes down to the ring, and then we have an impromptu match between Rey Mysterio and Angel Garza, who was making his debut here on Monday Night Raw. And I really like this match between Rey and Garza. I would love to have seen them go another 7 minutes. But for what we got here, I thought it was really, really good. For Raw, Rey wins by DQ. Garza, of course, grabbed Rey and dropped him on the exposed concrete with the hammerlock DDT. So Rey is out. I thought it was an impactful way for Garza to make his debut here on Raw, and linking up with Zelina. Gives Zelina something to do until Andrade comes back. And maybe you can have maybe Garza and Andrade as a tag team. That would be a nice boost for the division. Just saying. Could be fun. We then had Charlotte Flair come down to the ring. Points at the WrestleMania sign. She says, everyone wants to know who Charlotte will face at WrestleMania 36. Is it going to be Becky Lynch, who she's beaten multiple times? Is it going to be Bayley, who she's beaten multiple times? And then Rhea Ripley is on Monday Night Raw. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my goodness. As good old JR would say here, folks, business has just picked up. So we have Rhea and Charlotte go face-to-face, and they tease a match here for WrestleMania. And it makes you wonder, is this going to be the direction that they're going in? I think it is. It's highly likely. And I think that is smart. At first I was poo-pooing. I was like, Charlotte won the Rumble. I'm just like, I don't know. Didn't like it. But you know what? If this is going to be the direction they're going in, and you can still do Shayna versus Becky and Bayley versus Sasha, you know what? I'd be all for it. I'm perfectly fine with that. I would not have a problem with that at all, guys. So Charlotte will be on NXT this Wednesday, and, we'll see where it goes from here. We then move on to Asuka and Natalya, solid women's match here. I was really interested to see, perhaps they might be setting up here for the Divas of Doom versus Asuka and Kairi Sane at WrestleMania. Could be an angle, a direction they could go in after, down the line here. But Asuka gets the win here. She locks in the Asuka lock. After the match, Becky Lynch comes down to the ring. And Asuka takes the mic and shouts at Lynch, saying she wants a rematch from the Royal Rumble. Becky says, yeah, you know what? I like the sound of that. You know what? She's going to put the title on the line. And apparently that match is, I believe, going to take place next week on Raw. So it makes me wonder, a scenario that I'm floating. If you're going to do that match next week, is that where Shayna Baszler comes in here and begins the build to Becky versus Shayna at WrestleMania? It's a possibility. Just saying, it is a possibility. So we'll see where that goes. And then we end here with the triple threat for the WWE Championship title shot at WWE Super Showdown. Seth Rollins versus Bobby Lashley versus Ricochet. And this was a really, really nice triple threat match. Nice way to close out the show here. I liked how they got Akam and Rezar. They ran down Buddy Murphy. They're trying to get involved. Then we have Kevin Owens. And we have Erik of the Viking Raiders hit the ring. They clear house. They grab steel chairs. They take out AOP and Buddy Murphy. So they're gone. Action comes down to Ricochet, Rollins, Lashley. Keeps picking up from here. We're getting close. The clock's running down. It's almost 11 o'clock here. And Ricochet, goes up to the top rope. And I did like the superplex spot. All three go crashing down to the ring. And Lashley and Ricochet go back and forth. Ricochet goes to the top. Hits the Super 630 on Lashley. His fans cheering. I'm thinking, we're going to go off the air here. And Ricochet's, he wins. Yay! Brock Lesnar's music hit. He literally sprints down the ring, picks up Ricochet, F5s him, and that's going to be the match that we have at Super Showdown. It's going to be Brock Lesnar versus Ricochet. I thought that was a damn solid edition of Monday Night Raw. I really, really did. I really like what Heyman's doing, how he's building up this young talent. I figured it would take some time, and I think, like I said, with Vince's attention being more and more diverted to the XFL, and to, SmackDown, I feel like maybe that is the best thing for Raw, and it has clearly shown. And guys, if I had to give a grade for this episode of Raw, I'm going to go with a B+. I thought it was a really strong episode of Raw. So, like I said, it's great to be back up here for these live views. Please be sure to like and retweet, and I really appreciate all the growth this channel continues to do. Like I said, it's been a while here. I apologize for not getting these live reviews up, but going forward, I'm going to do my best here now that I got my internet fixed to be live here as much as possible. So I hope the audio quality was good. Be sure to check out my AEW Dynamite Day in a Life video. Be sure to check out episode 5 of the Ultimate Marks podcast. And stay tuned here for more video content coming soon to youtube.com/JanoGuys412. Gonna be doing some interviews down the line as the road to WrestleMania approaches. So yeah, I'm giving Raw a B+ tonight, guys. I want to say thank you all for tuning in. And that about does it for this video. And until next time, guys, I am out.